Do you now believe? And we go to John chapter 16 for this, and we're going to begin in verse 16. And this is where Jesus is saying some things they don't understand. Now, we actually do understand it because we have the benefit of having been born way after the New Testament has been completed. But they are living this. They do not know what, at this point in time, in John chapter 16, they don't know what we now know. They would, but we have these words that Jesus states, "A little while and you will not see me, and again a little while and you will see me, because I go to the Father." Okay, now, they don't know what this means, and they're about to say that. But he says, a little while, you'll not see me. A little while beyond that, you will see me. And he says, I go to the Father. Now, I just want to make mention concerning this, that there was a prophecy, is a prophecy, in Jeremiah chapter 3:19, stating, "You shall call me my Father and not turn away from me." Call me my Father. There is no place in the Old Testament, no place where anyone prayed to the Father. They prayed to Jehovah, but never my Father who art in heaven. That's the first time you're going to see that. That's Matthew chapter 6 and verse 9. That's the first time you're going to see where that term is now given. Prophesied in Jeremiah, and Jesus is using it. And he is saying the Father. He's not just saying my Father, because it applies to everyone. He is the Father of all. And now he says, you're not going to see me, then you will see me. I will be at the Father. Then some of his disciples said among themselves, what is this that he says to us? A little while and you will not see me, and again a little while and you will see me, and because I go to the Father. They don't know what that means. Now, we have the benefit of already having the Gospels written out to us. We've had it all of our lives. So this wouldn't be a mystery to us, but it is to them. They don't know what it means and understand the little while, because he's about to say the hour is at hand, and it now is. The hour for all these things to occur is here. All right? And so they don't know what this means. They said, therefore, what is this that he says, a little while? We do not know what he is saying. All right? So there are times when Jesus would speak in metaphorical ways. That's one way of calling it. He would speak by way of parables. He would speak in a language that one may not readily understand, and he would explain it. And there are times when he speaks directly. There's no misunderstanding that. And even his enemies understood when he was talking about them. They very well understood that. All right, but now you've got these disciples, and understand they are disciples. They are followers of Christ, and they don't know what he's saying. Now, Jesus knew that they desired to ask him, and he said to them, because they don't go to him, but he says, are you inquiring among yourselves about what I said? A little while and you will not see me, and again a little while and you will see me. Most assuredly I say to you that you will weep and lament, but the world will rejoice. And you will be sorrowful, but your sorrow will be turned to joy. All right, what's he talking about? He is talking about the crucifixion. That there is coming up a Friday where he is going to be crucified. And that is the most horrible sight they could imagine. The one they know to be the Son of God. The one they know is Christ. They know he is. And he is being murdered in front of them by public execution. And it is the Jewish rulers manipulating easily the Romans, especially Pontius Pilate, All right, easily they are ready accomplices. All right, they're not going to stop this. All right, they are ready accomplices, and so he's saying you're going to weep and lament, but the world is going to rejoice. They're going to rejoice at this. It's those rulers going to rejoice. The Romans are going to rejoice. Not everybody, however, is going to rejoice. There will be weeping and lamentation going on as well. But those who are evil, they see it as having defeated God. Now, how do I know that's what they were out to do? Because I can go to Psalm 2 and see that's precisely what their motive was. That was their plan and their hope in defeating Jehovah and His anointed. That would be Christ. All right, now we will skip to to verse 25. We're still in John 16. We'll go to verse 25. These things I have spoken to you in figurative language. That'd be metaphorical language, but figurative language. It would be where he's saying it in a way that, if you think about it, you can know what it means, but maybe you're wondering, do I have the right meaning of this or not? He's saying it's figurative language. But the time is coming when I will no longer speak to you in figurative language, but I will tell you plainly about the Father. So he's talking about the Father again. I will tell you plainly about them. In that day you will ask in my name, and I do not say that I shall pray the Father for you. For the Father himself loves you because you have loved me and have believed that I came forth from God. So he is saying in this, ask in my name. Now it's the Father you're praying to. All right? Ask in my name. And he says, by his authority, you can do this, but you're the one that's supposed to be doing it. Now, verse 28, I came forth from the Father and have come into the world. Again, I leave the world and go to the Father. All right, this is maybe a little bit more plain. And his disciples said to him, see, now you are speaking plainly and using no figurative speech. All right, you're talking to us plainly now, and we can begin to understand. And then they say this, now we are sure that you know all things and have no need that anyone should question you. By this we believe that you came forth from God. Okay, now this is a peculiar thing in my mind, a peculiar thing for them to say at this moment, because there would have been numerous things that he would have done that would have proven him to be the Son of God, that would proven that he would know all things, and that you don't need to question him. All right, if he can stop a storm just by speaking to it, all right, usual people can't do that. The rest of humanity can't do that. If someone who in fact can heal the blind, or where the blind are seeing, the dead are raised, that's proof positive to me. That's unmistakable. Yeah, you don't need anybody to tell you, to confirm that he is the Christ. If you know that, if you saw that, you don't need anybody to tell you anything else. You can make that decision on your own. All right, but they say, by this we believe that you came forth from God. Now we go to verse 31. Jesus answered them, do you now believe? Okay, so we're just going to look at this for a second, because in this, there are different ways to take this. And I think by what he says following this gives us an understanding of what is meant in this question. All right? He could be saying, do you now believe? As in, there have been numerous things that have been done. You didn't believe then, but now you believe? You could take it that way. You can take it also that, and this is what we're going to see, that you don't really have the belief yet. Do you now believe? Because what he's about to say is what they're about to do. What's going to happen, what they're about to do. And it ends with, just like what he's already said, that briefly there will be mourning and lamentation, but then you will have joy. All right? This ends very, very well. But he's going to show them that I'm not so sure that you have the faith you think you have. I'm not so sure that you believe like you should believe. And I think that's what is meant by, do you now believe? Now, indeed, the hour is coming. Now, he's already said this just in different words. The hour is coming, yes, and has now come, that you will be scattered, each to his own, and will leave me alone. And yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me. All right, so we're going to go through this bit by bit. Indeed, the hour is coming. Yes, has now come. All right, that word indeed does mean behold, or look, or just see. The hour's here. Because what's about to happen, it's not going to be much longer, and he's going to be put on trial, and he's going to be crucified, and he will die. It's not very long. And this is basically the last part of this timetable. The last part of this timetable that is taking the Christ, putting the Christ here upon this earth, his ministry upon this earth, and now him fulfilling his mission, which is to die for the sins of the world. That hour is here. The hour has now come. So we're not really waiting for very long. It's that this time is now. It is happening. Then he says this, you will be scattered, each to his own, and will leave me alone. Now they wouldn't want to hear that. This is very similar to what Jesus told Peter. Peter said, and Peter's not the only one that said it, there were others that said it, we will die for you. We will die with you, I should say. We will die with you. And Jesus tells Peter, not only are you not going to die with me, you're going to deny me. All right, not only are you not going to die with me, all of you are going to be scattered, each to his own, and will leave me alone. All right, they don't think they will, but he's telling them that's what you're going to do. Because he knows. He knows what the future holds. And yet, I am not alone, because the Father is with me. Which means, this all has to do with the crucifixion. That means the Father is with him through the crucifixion. Now, when Jesus, and we discussed this a few months ago when we were talking about the Psalms and Christ. And in Psalm 22, beginning, my God, why have you forsaken me? That he isn't actually saying that God has turned his back on him or that God has left him. And we can show just in that psalm that he didn't do it, but we can see in other places. And this is one where he's saying, the Father is always with me. The Father's with me. You will scatter, you'll be on your own, you'll leave me alone, but the Father remains with me. And he knew the Father was very much aware of what was going on, and he was there to see it to the end. And it is completely fulfilled, precisely as it was designed. These things I have spoken to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. Let's look at this bit by bit. These things I've spoken to you, that in me you may have peace. All right? In him you have peace. We're going to see in just a second. In the world, you're not going to have peace. In the world, you're going to have tribulation. But in Christ, there is peace. That's where you're going to find it. That is where you're going to find peace. And that's the only possible way to truly have peace. That's the only way. Peace treaties don't do it. I can just show you, I don't mean to get off into history, but there's a peace treaty that was called the Versailles Treaty. Versailles Treaty is what brought about World War II. All right? You don't get peace without Christ. It's impossible. With Him, there is peace. And He promises that. In the world, you will have tribulation. That is a promise too. Don't think that this life is just going to be a breeze, because we're all going to be put to the test. It's not going to be a breeze. He never promised it as much. That someone may have this kind of a fanciful idea or this romanticized idea, or we can also call it a flawed idea, that somehow if you are obedient to God, nothing bad will ever happen to you. You will always get your way. You will never have any kind of trouble whatsoever. That is completely wrong. And the whole idea of the health and wealth gospel, where you have some very, very wealthy televangelist who has a Rolex and $1,000 shoes and a private jet, all right, and trying to convince everybody if you're truly obedient like he's obedient, you truly give like he gives, God is going to give you the Rolex and the shoes and the private jet and the fleet of Porsches. All right, God's going to do that. He never said that. I don't know anyone who was greater than Christ. And Christ had none of those things. Christ, as He said, has nowhere to put His head, to lay His head at night. He had nowhere for that. All right? In the world, you will have tribulation. There will be trouble. Now that's going to sound like very bad news, but He says this, but be of good cheer, I have overcome the world. That means the one who gives you joy is the one who wins. The one who gives you this peace is the one who wins. Not the one who gives tribulation. The one who offers peace and brings peace is the one who overcomes the world. The world loses. Satan loses. Death itself loses. All those things, all those enemies come to an end. And He is telling them, asking them, do you now believe? Because, maybe you think you do. And you want to. That's no doubt in that. You want to believe. But there's some things that are going to come about that's going to put you to the test. There's things that are going to come about where you're going to have faith in the one who says He does bring joy and He does bring peace. You're going to have faith in that one when things are not going well. And on that particular Friday, things were not going well. They were seeing the very one that is the Son of God, who has come down to be, He has a kingdom that He's establishing. But His throne is not on this earth. His throne is in a place far greater than this earth. And it's at the right hand of God. Precisely what David wrote in Psalm 110, verse 1. Sit at my right hand till I make your enemies your footstool. As Jehovah said to my Lord. David wrote that. And here, do we have faith in Him? There will be days of sorrow. There will be days that are going to be difficult. But we are to remain with Him. Once again, a trial is not a trial unless there is something that puts us under stress. And a trial is never a cakewalk. A trial is never something that's just absolutely simple, has no emotional distress in it, has no fear in it, has none of those things in it. They do. Purposefully, they do. Will we remain with Christ or not? Do you now believe? That's the question. That's a valid question. Do you now believe? This evening, as this day has come and gone, so too the day of judgment will arrive and be over. And there are only two options. God makes it extraordinarily simple. Two options, and you cannot have anything that's more extreme in these options. There's the option of God and heaven, or the option of rebelling against Him and hell. One or the other, obedience or disobedience. And it is eternal reward or eternal punishment. There can't be anything more strikingly dissimilar, such a reward for us, but also, if we disobey, a punishment for us. We each will bear our own actions, our own thoughts, our own words, everything before Christ, who judges all by righteousness and by His word. This evening, if you need to respond to the invitation, we ask that you come as we stand and sing.